Hello, and today we are doing an FPL preview for game week number 20. These are the fixtures for my team this week. We've got Arsenal v Wolves, Palace v Norwich, Southampton versus Spurs, Watford West Ham. I think Leeds v Villa might be postponed by the time you watch this, but you never know, could go ahead. Leicester Liverpool, Chelsea Brighton, Brentford Man City, Everton Newcastle, and Manchester United against Burnley. So, let me talk you through my team for you this game week. Basically, what I'm going to say is that ahead of game week 20, with Ramsdale in goal, he's a bit of a legend, so he should do the bits in this game week for sure. Let's get the points for you. I mean, Wolves obviously haven't been scoring many points. They did get their game against Watford postponed. Raul Jimenez has not been in great form. Hwang's been injured. Hopefully a clean sheet for Ramsdale. And I know that he plays Man City in the next game week, but we're just going to ride through that. Ramsdale is the best goalkeeper at the good price. I've got so much value in him of 5.1. So hopefully a clean sheet there for Arsenal. Also in that game, I've got Saka. Now, I think Saka, this is his last hurrah, as is with Lacazette, right? So I'm looking to move out the Arsenal players in game week 21 because, number one, they've got a really tough game against Man City. And number two is that the other forwards in game week 21 could be really appealing ahead of the game week 22 double game week. So that's what I'm thinking. But hopefully Saka does well against Wolves. He has scored before against Wolves. I think it was his first ever Arsenal goal at Molineux, but this one is at the Emirates. So I'm backing Saka to do quite well here. I've just got a good feeling about it. And Arsenal quite strong at home. Lacazette, he's not been amazing, right? He's not been the option that I thought he would smash points for me. But look, he's got some returns. An assist against Leeds, an assist against West Ham, even if he did miss the penalty. And obviously got that game against Norwich. So look, Wolves, last time for these lads. Let's see what happens. But this is going to be the final game. And I think hopefully should be some decent points for them. Moving on. We have got Southampton against Spurs. Now, this is a perfect game. Obviously, Son I brought in last week. I'd imagine that it's carnage, right? Because we know that game last season, 5-2, 4 goals for Son, 1 for Kane. I haven't got Kane, but I could think about getting Kane later. However, is it worth it? I don't even know if it is because I'd rather Ronaldo at this point. However, that game for Spurs, for Son, and also for Ben Davies. Now, I honestly think it's probably a better shout to play King against West Ham and bench Ben Davies. A very, very close one. Because you'd argue Southampton still do score goals through your likes of Armando Broja and also through James Ward-Prowse. But Watford against West Ham, well, you'd argue West Ham defensively have not been amazing. However, we've not been scoring bags of goals. But just because of the fact, the last few weeks has been a bit confidence hitting. But also we've not had games recently. So how King is going to get on against West Ham is still there to see. But look, we got in King ahead of these really good run of games in December. And if we can't even get one match in December, then it's just like, what's the point? So we're going to probably play King and bench Davies. Like, I know the Spurs defence, right? Against Palace, you thought, let's just try it. Against Southampton, maybe we're just going to say, focus on Son Heung-min. Leeds Aston Villa, look, I do have Douglas Luiz, right? But I probably am going to want to sell because if this game, by the time of recording, it might not be going ahead. If it is, then I probably want to sell Douglas Luiz anyway because, look, I'm not going to have Watkins, right? Obviously, if the game goes ahead, and I will probably regret not owning Watkins this week, but look, it is what it is, right? I wanted Ronaldo last week. So I think that's an interesting one. Leicester Liverpool, I honestly think I might get lucky here. I might not see a Salah return. I know that it's probably unlikely because Leicester defensively are quite poor, but look, honestly, Salah, okay, fair enough. But Jota and Mane, I get that they're going to probably want to play to have their last hurrah before the Africa Cup of Nations. But Jota can easily get as much, if not more than Salah in any given game week. Obviously, the reason we captain Salah most weeks is because he's so consistent. But the last couple of weeks, to be fair, because I sold him last week for Son, before that time I sold Salah, the last couple of weeks he had dropped off a little bit, right? But obviously, to still get a return most weeks, a 5-pointer, a 10-pointer, whatever, he was so consistent and he's so good. So betting against him, obviously, is what I'm doing this week, which a lot of managers are doing because of AFCON, right? It was just convenient that Son had that nice fixture and Son and Salah blanked last week. So obviously this game will be probably hard to watch if I do watch it. So I'll probably be at the Watford game, to be fair. So I don't know if I'll watch it. But the point is, look, it's a tough one. Let's just bite the bullet. But I think Trent still can get big points. We've done it against Leicester before. I think he scored like a 14 pointer or something back at Leicester. And I think it was a Boxing Day game as well. So it was near the festive time. And he can score goals against anyone. We saw that against Newcastle. And then Chelsea-Brighton. Look, I'm just looking for that clean sheet. Now, I actually am going to sell one of my Chelsea defenders this week. I know you're going to say, why would you do that ahead of Brighton, who, you know, on their day can be quite weak going up forward. But I actually think it's a better defensive fixture to target here. And I wanted to sell both of my Chelsea defenders anyway. So by doing it this week, it saves the hit I'm going to have to take in Game Week 21. I just do it this week. And look, one Chelsea defender is enough, I think, for this game, especially with the attacking threat he's got. So, although I don't like to do it, although it is obviously the December time where there's a lot of rotation and you want those nailed-on players, and I get Rudiger is more nailed on than Reece James, but I have to sell Rudiger this week just because Reece James, even if Brighton score, right, there's more upside of Reece James getting an attacking return, and Reece James is probably going to leave in next week, but I just want to keep him one more week. He's just been unbelievable this season. So that is my thinking there. Brentford City, still going to persist with Bernardo Silva because, look, what other choice have I got? We need a City attacker. We're not going to move to Foden or to De Bruyne because we just don't have the funds and we're just not really that up for it. So let's hope he can do something here. Obviously, I know City's fixtures do turn quite bad average. I don't know what you want to call it because it's Man City. They can beat anyone, but obviously Arsenal and Chelsea in the next couple. But then after that, really good for Man City. So might just have to ride the wave with the Portuguese Bernardo Silva. Everton, Newcastle. Look, I'm glad, right? I'm glad I didn't keep Manquillo. I'm not going to lie, ahead of Man United. But at the same time, it would have been nice to have, thought about DCL last week in Game Week 19. But obviously, their game got called off. So I wouldn't have owned really an Everton Newcastle game player, I don't think. And in United Burnley, obviously, just like last week, the last game of the game week, it could be another opportunity to captain Ronaldo. And look, Burnley have been quite poor defensively. I know they have, got a 0-0 before at Old Trafford, but look, United can put a few past this Burnley team. So looking like the GOATs, time to shine. But let me talk about my transfers. Now I've talked about my team selection for game week number 20. Transfers wise, this is what we're looking at. It's another minus, another hit, I know, but it is what it is, right, at the end of the day. So just ignore the other transfers that are on this list because obviously at the time of recording, those are going to show the Game Week 19 transfers. But Game Week 20 transfers, you will see Dalot is in and also Lucas Moura. Now, I know Moura is a bit of a risky one because he didn't play much of the game against Liverpool. But I just really want him. I want 3 Spurs attackers or 3 Spurs assets. I know that tripling up is not always the best, but it's just worth it because I think if you don't have Kane, Moura's that kind of way to get around it. And I've already got Ronaldo. So it looks a really good move ahead of that nice fixture for Tottenham in this game week. I think Southampton just can be leaky, right? So Moura is coming in as a nice juicy differential. And we've also done Dalot because I think you need a few United players, right? Obviously, their fixture run is still amazing. We said about this like back in game week 14, I think it was, and then it started all the way till 27. So at least now that United have got over their COVID situation, I want to get some more attacking output, right? I've got Ronaldo already. That's probably all I need because Fernandes is just too expensive. But you'd think there'd be clean sheets there, right? We did see a lot of 1-0s for Ralph Rangnick with the Norwich game, with the Palace game. I think United can keep doing that, and you'd fancy them, I think, this week against Burnley. So Dalot is in. I know what you're thinking, why didn't you just keep Rudiger? But ultimately, right, I want to move away from Chelsea anyway, and I just like those transfers. So I think it's worth making your defence a little bit cheaper these days. Now Big at the back is starting to decline. I think just 3 main premium defenders is fine. And then to have that squad depth over the January kind of period where there's lots of possible postponements and cancellations, and it's just a great team. The squad depth is unbelievable. And I know we're going back to that thing, we're going to have a benching headache. Well, I like that team, so I'm not fussed. Like, I can just rotate when there's a bad fixture, and the chances of me losing out points because I benched someone in a bad fixture is just like, well, you've got to back the decision, not the outcome. So I'm happy with it, to be honest. It's a really solid team. And to think that I've not done a free hit to get to that team is beautiful, because then that means in Game Week 22, a free hit could very well be on the cards. I might change my strategy, but you never know, right? So that is my team. Those are my transfers. I'll just show you what they look like. Obviously, ignore the other ones, but it's Douglas Luiz to Lucas Moura, because I said how if Leeds Villa doesn't go ahead, then I quite like that, right? Because Douglas Luiz just stinking up my team. I needed to get rid of Manquillo last week. I'm getting rid of Douglas Luiz this week. And the other one was obviously Dalot in for Rudiger. And I know that you'll say, oh, Rudiger's most nailed, but James is most attacking. And if Brighton score, James will get more points than Rudiger. That's the fact of it, right? Of course, if Brighton don't score and there's a double clean sheet for Chelsea and then a goal for Burnley, that's a shame, right? It's a kick in the teeth, but it's not a long-term move that I would be against, because I like Dalot. I think he's just such a steal at 4.5. So yeah, that is my team ready for game week number 20. Hope you have enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.